Hello, dear basic scholars. Welcome to GMAETS Basic Class channel. In our live class today, I'll be teaching you how to find missing numbers in equivalent fractions. How to find missing numbers in equivalent fractions. The network situation here this morning is really bad, okay, due to the weather condition, but I hope we are going to manage and overcome it. I just hope. So from time to time, I will go to check the network situation through the camera to know if you are still connected. You remember that yesterday in our live class, I taught you in our maths class, I taught you how you can get equivalent fractions. We defined what equivalent fractions are, and I explained to you how you can easily get fractions that are equivalent. Very simple, okay? So we are going to see a situation today where I give you equivalent fractions, but there are some numbers missing in it. How can you obtain those missing numbers? That is the focus of our class today. Let me check the network situation. All right. So if I give you equivalent fractions, but it happens that a particular term, a number is missing in that equivalent fraction, how are you going to get or find that number? In this class, I'll be teaching you two methods you can use to obtain the answer, to find the missing number. Okay? So at the end of today's class, you would have learned these two methods. One of it is using inspection method that leads you to just do either direct multiplication or division, as the case might be. Then the second method would be using the knowledge of cross multiplication together with dividing both sides by the coefficient of the unknown. You recall that I've taught you simple equations before. So when I talk about cross multiplication and dividing by the coefficient of the unknown, these are things I expect you should have good knowledge of. So like I said, there are two methods I'm going to be teaching you on how to find the missing number. Like I said, from time to time, I'll be checking the camera to be sure that the network has not cut off. Okay? Because like I said, the weather condition here this morning is quite bad. So let us still check. Okay, so we are there. Like I said, there are two methods you're going to learn from today's class on how to find missing numbers. Okay? To find missing numbers, let's have this short note. In an equivalent fraction, okay? In equivalent fractions. In equivalent fractions. Any of the two methods below can be used. Any of the two methods below can be used. Any of the two methods can be used. So the choice is yours on which of the methods to use. Number one, multiplication or division method. Multiplication or division method by direct inspection. By direct what? Inspection. So when a question is given to you, you can inspect the question directly, and what you see there would help you to know. Okay, when you inspect, you can carry out certain division or multiplication, as the case might be, to be able to get the missing number. You can do that. Don't worry, when we pick examples, questions to solve, you would see how this is being done. It's very simple. Remember, here at GMAETS41, this basic class channel is to help build your solid foundation, especially those in basic level of learning. Basic 4, Basic 5, Basic 6, Basic 7, Basic 8, Basic 9. To build your foundation so that whenever you see math problems, you will play with them. Make them 1 plus 1. So in the second method, we use the cross multiplication and dividing both sides and dividing by the coefficient of the unknown, and dividing by the coefficient of the unknown. So cross multiplication and dividing by the coefficient of the unknown method of simple equation. So you see what GMAETS41 tried to do here is show you, the methods you can use to solve this problem. And I had to mention, I gave the name of this method so that you will be confident in yourself that this is something you can do. And of course, See, when I talk about multiplication and division, at this point in time, for those of you that have been following our classes, you should have good knowledge of multiplication and division by now. Okay? And then when I talk about cross multiplication and dividing by the coefficient of the unknown, see, this is from simple equation, which I have already taught you on this channel. So with these, you can be able to solve questions on missing numbers involving equivalent fractions. Let us see how we apply these methods to solve problems. Before we move on into that, let me check the network situation. Okay, so we are still on. That's good. I had always stated the importance of multiplication. Once somebody is good with multiplication, division becomes 1 plus 1. So sometimes when a problem is given to you, you can just inspect, just look at the question. You do direct inspection, observe it. From there, the knowledge of multiplication and division can help you know what to do in order to get a missing number. And then sometimes, if you don't want to use this method, you want to use this cross multiplication and dividing both sides by the coefficient of the unknown, that will require a good knowledge of simple equation, which we have treated on this channel. So right away, let us pick questions and solve to see how we apply these methods in finding missing numbers in equivalent fractions. Let us see our very first example here. Finish up what you have here so I can wipe. No time. This is a live class. It's meant to be 1 hour class, okay? Because you're dealing with basic level of learning. All right? So you want to be fast in copying. If you're not able to meet up copying the notes completely before I wipe, remember you can always still come back to this channel. At the end of this live class, a copy of this class will be made available. So you can come back and still take the lesson where you will pause. You can pause me to copy notes. You can fast forward me on anything you already understand. You can take me back to hear about what I explained on a particular thing so as to help you understand it better. So there is room to always come back. I am wiping now, so we pick examples and solve. I've just written the methods that you, my dear friends, can use to be able to find a missing number in equivalent fractions. So let us now see how we can apply these methods. We go straight on to example 1. Example 1. So in example 1 here, we have this question. All right. Find the missing number. Find the missing number. The missing numbers in, so we have 3 over 5 equal to 9 over, so we don't know what is here. Let me fix question mark, equal to question mark over 20 equal to 18 over question mark. So this is the question here. We have these equivalent fractions. There are some numbers that are missing there. How do we find the numbers? That is what we are meant to do here. So it's a very simple problem. It's a very simple problem, okay? So let us see how we solve this question. Let us assume that I want to use method 1, solution. Solution. Method 1. Remember, on this channel, you are being coached step by step with the many years of teaching experience of the GMAETS41. This is a channel to always follow. Our basic scholars, those in basic 4 to 9, like I mentioned already. Many years of teaching experience is being applied here in order to help you enjoy what you are learning in maths, in English, all right, and basic science subjects. But specifically, we hit mathematics hard because this happens to be a subject that many scholars, young ones, and even adults, sometimes they worry about. But like I always say, maths is a very simple and interesting subject, and we need it in our life. We need it in our lives, okay? So here we apply these years of experience to help you enjoy these things because they are very simple. We have 3 over 5 equal to 9 over question mark equal to question mark over 20 equal to 18 over question mark. Now, if you look at these fractions given to us, this is the fraction in its lowest term. This 3 over 5 is a fraction in its lowest term. So using that knowledge of that fraction in its lowest term, this 3 over 5, looking at it, we can always pick this 3 over 5, then use it to get the missing number in any of the other fraction. We can always pick this 3 over 5, being the smallest, the least fraction, to obtain any other number in this missing fraction. So by that method 1, we said you can use direct inspection and then apply your knowledge of multiplication or division to solve the problem. Now look at this. Picking 3 over 5 to be equal to 9 over this blank space, this question mark, this unknown. What you have to do by that direct inspection using the knowledge of multiplication or division, quickly look at the parts that you know. See, I'm picking 3 over 5 and 9 over question mark. 3 over 5 equals, observe that you know their numerators. The numerators of these two fractions are complete. You know this to be 3, you know this to be 9. Nothing is missing there in the numerator. So by the direct approach, ask yourself, out of these two numerators, which one is smaller? 3 is smaller. Then using the knowledge of multiplication, ask yourself, 3 times which number will give you 9? Once you know that number, you will multiply this 3 by to get 9. It means to get this unknown, this question mark, you will use that number to multiply 5. So that's just a simple trick, the secret. You see, it's 1 plus 1. So I ask you, from 3 times table, 3 times which number will give you 9? You will agree with me that 3 times 3 will give us 9. 3 times 3 will give us 9. So this 3 is the number you will multiply this 3 by to get 9. So this becomes our interest. It means if I want to get this unknown, this question mark, I am going to multiply 5 by 3. So you see how the knowledge of multiplication helps me to know how quick or how easy I can get this missing number. From what I just explained, you agree with me that this 3 times 3 will give you 9. It means if you multiply this number by 3, you will get 9. Therefore, you have to multiply this denominator 5 by 3 also to get the missing number here. I've just shown you that. It therefore means that to get this missing number, I will do 5 times 3. Simply, to obtain this fraction, we multiply the numerator and the denominator of this 3 over 5 by 3. In our equivalent fraction yesterday, to obtain equivalent fraction, I told you if you are to get it, you simply multiply the numerator and denominator by the same number. And here we have found that number, it is 3. So I will multiply this 5 by 3 to get this one. Is that clear? All right. So from what I analyzed here, you see that all I would do here would be to multiply this 5 by 3. Okay. I think I can actually write it down here. This means that 3 over 5 is equal to, here is 9. All over the denominator, to obtain it, I'll do 5 times 3. That gives me that value. Now, we are moving on to the next one. Unknown times 20, that is question mark over 20. Unknown over 20. So let us see how we can get this missing number. We are using the direct approach, direct method, that is by inspection. Direct inspection. Using multiplication and division. Okay, direct inspection. Using what? Multiplication. Multiplication. All right, multiplication method. Multiplication or division method. Or division method. Good. Now, by the division method, instead of going by multiplication, you could have done this instead. Let me show you quickly. We had 3 over 5. Please, before we find this one, let me show you the division approach to this. 3 over 5 equal to 9 over question mark. Instead of asking which number will you multiply 3 by to get this 9, you can go the other way around. Look at both of them, which you know, numerator, numerator. Ask yourself, which of them is bigger? Which of them is greater? 9 is greater than 3. Therefore, go to 9 and ask yourself, if you divide this 9, if you divide this bigger number 9 by 3, what will you get? You agree with me that if you do 9 divided by 3, you are going to get 3. 9 over 3, 9 divided by 3 will give you 3. So with this, you have been able to get the number you will use to multiply this denominator in order to get this number here. 9 divided by 3 will give you what? 3. So from there, you have gotten the number which you will use to multiply the numerator and denominator in order to get this fraction, and hence the missing number. So that is it. Nothing is there. It's very simple. By the division method. What we try to do, either in this multiplication or in division method, is to get the number we will use in multiplying the numerator and denominator in order to get the other fraction. That is it. So let us move on to the next one. We have this over 20. Question mark over what? 20. Remember, once you join this class, like this lesson, okay? Click the like button. If you have not subscribed, click on the subscription button. Then turn on the notification bell. You will see a bell icon there. Click it. Once you click it, you would see something open, a menu will open, all, personalized, and some other things. Click on all, so that anytime I upload any video or come on live, YouTube will inform you that GMAETS41 basic class is on to teach you now, so you can connect. All right, we move on. We are looking at the next one. What we do there. I hope the network has not cut you off. So let us find out. Okay, we are still on. Again, we are going to pick 3/5, which is the least fraction, the first fraction given to us. Equal to, come over here, I don't know what is there, question mark over 20. Now look at these two fractions. You observe that you know the two denominators. The denominators here, you know them. So that will now be your focus. You use it. You use those denominators because you know both of them. Nothing is missing in the denominators. So you use the denominator numbers to get the number you will use in multiplying the numerator and denominator so as to get this equivalent fraction. So that is a secret. So coming over here, if you want to use the multiplication method, ask yourself, if you multiply 5, 5 and 25 is smaller. So ask yourself, which number will you use in multiplying 5? Which number will you multiply 5 by to get 20? Once you know that number, it means that this fraction here was actually obtained by multiplying the numerator and denominator of this 3/5 by that number. And that will help you to get this missing number. I'll quickly show you that. Look at, if you have 5 times 4, 5 times 4 will give you 20. So this becomes our interest. It means that 4 was used to multiply this numerator and this denominator so as to get this next fraction. 5 times 4 will give you 20. So automatically, if 5 times 4, we have found out that 4 here will give you 20, it means that this numerator 3 will also be multiplied by 4 to get this missing number. So you see the numbers and ask yourself, which one is smaller out of the part where nothing is missing? Here, the denominator, nothing is missing. So you ask yourself, which one is smaller? 5 is smaller, so you use multiplication method. 5 times which number will give you this? So once you know that number, your problem is solved. It means you're going to use that number to multiply this numerator to get this missing number. Now, if you multiply 3 by 4, 3 times 4 will give you 12. It simply means that the missing number here is what? 12. And we're going to obtain it by doing 3 times 4. I've shown you how we got to know that you are using 4 to multiply. Now let us look at the other method, division method of this, to still get the same result. That the number we are going to use in multiplying this numerator and denominator to get this fraction is 4. Let us use the division method. In the division method, I will come to these two denominators because nothing is missing there. I'll now ask myself, which number is greater out of the two? 20 is greater than 5. So ask yourself, 20 divided by 5 will give you which number? This bigger number divided by 5 will give you which number? It will give you 4. So you have gotten 4, telling you that to obtain this fraction, you are going to multiply the numerator and denominator of this 3/5, of this smallest fraction, this least fraction. You're going to multiply the numerator and denominator by that 4, which is still the same as what you obtained by the multiplication method, that you're using 4 to multiply in order to get that missing part. That is it, dear friends. So what will I do? I'll simply come to this. To obtain this missing number, I am meant to do 3 times 4. So I'll write 3 times 4. This takes us to the last missing number, which is 18 over question mark. So we are going to find out what is missing down there. Again, what do? Remember, by this approach, you always go back to the first fraction, the smallest fraction given to you, the least fraction. You know, this 3 over 5 cannot be reduced again. So 3 over 5 is the least fraction. You can't reduce it anymore. It is the lowest term, the lowest fraction. So by this multiplication or division method, you always go back to that 3 over 5. Use it to generate, to obtain, to find the missing numbers. So let us do that for the next work here. So we go back to 3 over 5. This 3 over 5 is equal to 18 over question mark. 18 over, we don't know what is meant to be here. So how will I know the missing number? Can you use either the multiplication or division method? Okay, let us again go by the multiplication method. Look at this fraction and ask yourself, which part is complete? Where is it that there is no missing number? You'll agree with me that these two fractions, the numerators, nothing is missing there. So you now go to the numerator, use it to get that number, which you will use to multiply numerator and denominator of 3 over 5 to get this fraction. So we go by multiplication method, come to this 3 and 18. Ask yourself which one is smaller. 3 is smaller, is that not so? Then using your knowledge of multiplication, you go to 3 times table and ask yourself, 3 times which number? 3 times which number will give you 18? 3 times which number will give you 18? You'll agree with me that 3 times 6 is equal to 18. So our interest now is this 6. It means that to get this missing number, we are going to multiply 5 by what? 6. Because to get this 18, we multiply 3 by 6 to get 18. Therefore, to get this missing number, we shall multiply this 5 by 6. That is it. So if I do 5 times 6, I'll get 30. This missing number will be 30. This is by the multiplication method. Remember, go to that part where nothing is missing. Ask yourself which one is a smaller number. Here it is 3. Ask yourself from 3 times table, 3 times what will give you 18. 3 times 6 will give you 18. Therefore, 6 is the number you are going to use to multiply this denominator to get this missing number. Let us prove it also that 6 is the number we are going to use to get the missing number here. We are going to use the division method. In the division method, once again, you go to the fractions that you are dealing with. The lowest fraction. And the one where you want to get the missing number. Look at it. Then go to the part where you know everything, where nothing is missing. That is the numerator, as you can see. Ask yourself which one is the greater number. 18 is greater than 3. Therefore, ask yourself, if you divide 18 by 3, 18 divided by 3 will give you what? 18 divided by 3 will give you 6. Therefore, this 6 becomes important to us. It means that to get this missing number, we are going to multiply this denominator 5 by 6. Simply, you see this fraction that we're trying to get the missing number in. This whole fraction was obtained by multiplying 3 by 6 and 5 by 6. That is it. So it's just like the opposite of how to obtain the equivalent fraction. Are you following, right? So that's just the thing. Nothing is there. When you're trying to obtain the equivalent fraction, you already select the number you are going to use in multiplying numerator and denominator. In this case of finding the missing number, you are trying to now get that number you are going to use in multiplying numerator and denominator. So I want to believe that this is very clear to you now. It's simple. So what do? Come to this missing fraction, this missing term. You're going to multiply the denominator 5 here by what? 6. Remember, you're trying to get the denominator. So it is going to be 5 times 6. And that's the difference. Nothing is there. With good knowledge of multiplication, you don't have problems here. Like I said, if you know your multiplication, you have already conquered division. Let us conclude. Therefore, we are asked to find the missing numbers. The missing numbers are 15, 12, 30. Remember, if you're doing this, you're going to get 3 over 5, 9 over 30, 12 over 20, 18 over 30. So 3 over 5 is equal to 9 over 15. And that's going to be equal to 12 over 20. And that's equal to 18 over 30. Therefore, the missing numbers, I conclude, the missing numbers are 15, 12, and 30. That's the answer. I've taken my time to explain how you do this. I've taken my time, step by step, to explain how you solve this question using method 1. We are going to solve this same question using method 2. Method 2 is cross multiplication and dividing both sides by the coefficient of the unknown using simple equation method. Okay? This one is very simple, nothing is there. I will wipe the board now, but let me check. I hope the network is still intact. Finish up quickly. Once I'm done checking the network condition, I'll wipe the board. Like I said, if you have not copied it, you can always come back at the end of the class to still take the lesson. Okay, so we are moving on. I hope you remember and understood how I handled this. Is in either multiplication or what? Division method. The only thing is, if you are using this method, at every point in time, you must go back to the least fraction, the fraction in its lowest term given to you. That fraction that you can no longer reduce, you must go back to it. You cannot use this one. Let us assume when I got 9 over 5 times 3. Now I know that 5 times 3 will give me 15. 9 over 15 equal to question mark over 20. I cannot use this 9 over 15. I can't use 9 over 15 equal to question mark over 20 to get this unknown, this question mark. I can't use this fraction. It's not done. If you are using this method. Are you getting me right? By this method, you must go back to that fraction given to you, which is already in the smallest form. So if the fraction is no longer in the smallest form, in the lowest form, it becomes a problem using this direct inspection method, multiplication or division method. It becomes difficult. Don't worry, as we are moving on, we are going to find out. That is why the method 2 I'm going to use in solving this question is what I, GMAETS41, usually advise that a student should get used to. And of course, in this method 2, once you understand method 2, you will be able to solve different kind of mathematical problems also. Like, your knowledge will improve. Because this second method we are about to use, simple equation method, like I said, simple equation is very important in the field of science, maths, and engineering. So, simple equation method, cross multiplication, and dividing both sides. Okay, and dividing by the coefficient of the unknown, and dividing by coefficient of unknown. That's by simple equation. Let us find out. We have 3 over 5 equal to 9 over question mark, equal to question mark over 20, equal to 18 over question mark. So I want to get this missing number. Remember, the first missing number we obtained here by method 1, we got it to be what? 15. So by this second method, can we actually obtain it to be 15? Let's find out. To do that, simply solve 3 over 5 equal to 9 over question mark. That question mark, you can decide to use x as the unknown. The choice is yours. You can decide to use x as the unknown. Then from here, simply solve for x. I've taught a simple equation before, so with this, you cross multiply. That's what you're meant to do. If I cross multiply, I will get 3x equal to 5 times 9 will give us 45. Then from here, divide both sides. You see, I have cross multiplied here. What I did here is cross multiply Cn. The next step here, 3x equal to 45. To obtain your x, you dbs by 3. Divide both sides by the coefficient of the unknown. And the coefficient of the unknown is 3. So if you divide here by 3, 3x divided by 3, you are going to get x remaining. Divide this left-hand side by 3. This 3 we cancel. Then come here, divide 45 by 3. So our x will now be equal to 45 divided by 3 will give you 15. 45 divided by 3 will give you what? 15. I've taught you division very well on this channel under basic arithmetics. You don't play with these things, please, dear basic scholars. Good enough. New academic section will be starting September, October. Many scholars in their basic levels will be introduced, basic 4, basic 5, basic 6, basic 7. They'll be introduced to numbers and numeration, place values, Roman numerals, expanded form, okay, and basic arithmetics, how to do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division, fractions. Please make sure you follow up with this channel. All your scheme of work, the video lessons on them as you are going to meet first semester new session coming. On this channel, they are all explained for you. Make use of them. All these topics you've seen, we've treated them. If you solve for this unknown here, the question mark, this unknown, we got 15, which is the same as what you obtained by multiplication or division method. So I've been able to get 15 here. You following? So all I have to do is to come over here and fix what? 15. All right. This calculation, you can be doing it as rough work somewhere. You can be doing it as rough work by the side of your notes. Besides, I want to tell you something which these days many scholars don't do it again. In our notebook, let us assume that this is a page of notebook. I used to remember when we were in basic level of learning, many years ago, we will be told that while you are solving the main questions here, you are solving the problem maybe by the left side, because your note can be divided into 2. The page of your note, but you don't draw that line, you don't draw it. On your own, by this side, you can just draw a small line here, right? And then you write rough work. Rough work. Where you will be solving, doing rough work, like this calculation, be doing rough works here to get your answers you'll be fixing here. Does that make sense? So we have gotten the first missing number, which is 15, by cross multiplication. I hope you understand this, right? Let me transfer the rough work here. And I want to encourage you people to be doing same in your schoolwork. Very important. We had, I hope that part did not cut off. Let me check. All right, good. It is within your site. 3 over 5 equal to 9 over question mark. I said let us use x as a question mark. Cross multiply. If you cross multiply, you have 3x equal to 5 times 9 is 45. Then divide both sides by the coefficient of the unknown, which is 3. Divide 3x by 3, you will get x remaining. Divide 45 by 3, 45 over 3 will give us that x is equal to 15. So the unknown there is 15. Therefore, we are saying that 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over, by this simple equation method, cross multiplication and dividing by the coefficient of the unknown. 9 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 will be equal to 9 over 3 over 5 you get your answer directly. You get the missing number directly. It is not like method 1, multiplication or division method, where what you're trying to get there is the number you will use to multiply the numerator and denominator to get the missing number. No, that's what we did there. We tried to get the number we will use to multiply. So by that multiplication and division method, you do not get the missing number directly. Rather, you get the number that will help you discover, that will help you obtain, that will help you find the missing number. Here, in this method 2, the simple equation method, by cross multiplication and dividing by coefficient of the unknown, once you solve for that unknown, you get the missing number directly. Okay, the next one will now be equal to question mark over 20. So let me do it over 20. We are trying to find this unknown, the missing number there. Now, at this point, you have your choice. Your choice is to make. You can use the first fraction together with this unknown fraction part, this fraction that contains the missing number you're trying to find. You can use this 3 over 5 together with this to solve. Or you can use this one you have obtained, 9 over 15, together with this one you want to get now to solve and obtain the missing number here. So you can see the advantage of the simple equation method, cross multiplying and dividing by the coefficient of the unknown. By this method, once you get any of the missing parts, you can use it to get the other one, just by solving the simple equation. So let me do the rough work here. Let me do the rough work here. I think I need more space, so rough work. Rough work. Good. So we move. I am going to use 3 over 15 together with this missing number, unknown, over 20. 3 over 5 rather, equal to, let's use y this time, unknown, question mark, let's use y over 20. When I show you this and we get this missing number, I will still come back and use 9 over 15 to get this missing number. In method 1, you could not use this 9 over 15 to get this one directly. No, you can't do that. You can't. Except you reduce this 9 over 15 down to this lowest term before you can get this. I said it when I showed you method 1. Here we cross multiply. If I cross multiply, what will I get? Cm. I'll get 5y equal to 3 times 20 will give us 60. Divide both sides by the coefficient of the unknown, dbs. The coefficient of the unknown is 5. So you're dividing both sides by 5. Divide 5y by 5. Y will be left equal to. Come to the right hand side, divide 60 by 5. 60 divided by 5 is 12. If you go to 5 times table, 5 times 12 will give you 60. So 60 divided by 5 will give you 12. I had always told you, friends, and I'll continue singing it. Don't joke with your multiplication, please. Now the missing number here is 12. We have obtained it, 12. So I'll write it 12. Now you see, instead of using 3 over 5 equal to y over 20 equal to the missing number over 20, you could use this one that you have obtained, 9 over 15, and you'll still get this 12. So you see that this method 2, it's not necessary to always go back to the first lowest fraction given to you. You can use any of the fractions you have gotten to calculate, to find the other unknown. That is another advantage of this method. And remember, this method will give you the unknown answer directly, the missing number to give it to you directly. Let us find it out that we could have used 9 over 15 equal to y equal to unknown over 20 to get 12, just like I used 3 over 5 to obtain it here. So let me wipe this, and then we are going to use 9 over 15. 9 over 15 equal to y over 20. Equal to unknown over 20. So from here you cross multiply. If you cross multiply, you are going to get 15y equal to 9 times 20 will give you 180. Multiplication. Divide both sides by the coefficient of the unknown, dbs, by 15. So if you divide the left-hand side, 15y by 15, the 15 will divide through to give you 1. 1 times y will give you y. Simply say the 15 will cancel. So you get y left, y will be remaining equal to 180 divided by 15. If you divide 180 by 15, you can decide to do reduction. If you don't know how many times 15 can divide 180, you can start reducing one after the other if you want. At least 5 can divide. But I know if you do this, you get 12. But look at it. If you want to divide step by step, here 5 can divide because the last digit here is 0, the last digit here is 5. If a number ends with 0 or 5, 5 can divide that number. If 5 goes into 18, what will it be? 5 into 18 will be 3 times remainder 3. Attach the 3 to this 0, you get 30. 5 can divide 30 6 times. 5 can divide 15, you get 3. Then you now have 36 over 3. 3 can divide 3, you get 1. 3 can divide 3, you get 1. 3 can divide 6, you get 2. So this becomes 12 over 1. 12 over 1 will give you 12. So 180 divided by 15 will give you 12, which is the same as what we obtained when I used 3 over 5. So we are done with this and we have obtained the second missing number. Let's go to the last one, the third missing number. So that is going to be equal to 18 over question mark. We don't know what that is. I'll wipe here and do my rough work. So it is going to be 18. It is going to be 3 over 5. Or if you want to use 9 over 15. Or if you want to use 12 over 20. Equal to 18 over the missing number. Any one of them you want to use. In fact, let me use one that will be bigger. Or should I still go back and use this one? Just that this one is the smallest number, so it will be faster to use in getting our answer. But one can still use 12 over 20 or 9 over 15 to be equal to 18 over an unknown to get the same answer. Okay, let me use 3 over 5. Let me go back to the smallest fraction. So now be 18 over the missing number. This time around, let me use A as the missing number. Again, cross multiply. That will give you 3A equal to 5 times 18 is going to give us what? 5 times 8 is 40. 0 move 4. And then 5 times 1. That should be 90. Okay? 90. Then we are dividing both sides by 3. dbs by 3, the coefficient of the unknown. If you divide 3a by 3, you are going to have a left. Then go to the right hand side, divide 90 by 3. 90 over 3 will give you what? 30. 90 over 3 will give you 30, which means the missing number here is what? 30. We have succeeded to get all the missing numbers. Remember, you could have used 12 over 20 equal to 18 over the unknown, say A. So I'm using 3 over 5. You can use 12 over 20 here, 12 over 20 equal to 18 over A. Or you can use 9 over 15 here, 9 over 15 equal to 18 over A. Solve for the unknown, you will still get 30. But like I said, the truth remains that the lowest fraction, using it to get the other one is faster because it is already in the lowest term. Let's conclude. Therefore, the missing numbers are 15, 12, and 30. 15, 12, and what? 30. So my dear basic scholars, this is how you obtain your missing numbers. This is how you obtain your what? missing numbers. I hope you enjoyed the solving, right? It's very simple. It's very simple. Nothing is there. We're going to pick one more question, okay? As we conclude our class today, let's check that the network is still intact. Let's check that the network is still intact. Good. Finish up what you have here on the board. I'll pick the second question. In the second question, I'll be fast. I will be fast. I'm not going to use method 1 or method 2. As in, I'm not going to use method 1 and method 2 to solve. I'll just pick one of the method. The choice is mine. Yes, in exam, it will be faster, say, to use the multiplication or division method. To be faster to use it. However, to improve your knowledge of mathematics, it will be better to learn the simple equation method, that is cross multiplication and dividing both sides by the coefficient of the unknown. It will be better because that will help to develop your knowledge more. Okay? But GMAETS41, your online teacher, has done his best showing you both methods. It is now left for you to learn both methods and use any one of them that you feel is best. Now, it is faster using method 1, multiplication or division method. It is faster to solve this question. It is longer. Yeah, okay, I don't know. It's longer to use the cross multiplication and dividing both sides by the coefficient of the unknown. It is longer to use it, but it is better. It is best. And the reason for that is your teacher might give you a missing number problem where maybe the fraction, the lowest fraction, or let me say that none of the fraction is in its lowest form. If the fractions are not in their lowest term, if the fractions are not, maybe a particular fraction is not in its lowest term rather, if the smallest fraction given there, how do I put it? If the first fraction, yes, is not in its lowest form, I repeat again. If the first fraction is not in its lowest form, or if none of the fraction is in its lowest form, then you can't use method 1 or method, you can't use method 1, multiplication or division method to solve. You can't. You can't. So that's the problem with method 1. That is why for me, I always advise method 2. I think the only thing you need to do to be fast in even solving using method 2 is knowing how fast to do cross multiplication and dividing both sides. And this thing, you can do it even without solving it, even without showing it on paper. It's just a matter of good knowledge of multiplication. Okay? So I think for this, I would only advise you, if any of the fraction is in its lowest term, let us assume the fraction you know, if it is in its lowest term, the one that the numerator and denominator are given, if it is in its lowest term, I will advise method 1. That is to say, the fraction is given and you can no longer reduce it. You know, like these ones, you can still reduce them. So 9 over 15 is not in its lowest form. 12 over 20 can still be reduced. So it is not in its lowest form. 18 over 30 can be reduced. It is not in its lowest form. So in that case, you can't use method 1 if all of them given to you are not in their lowest form. If the fraction given to you is not in its lowest form. But if it is in its lowest form, like in this case, 3 over 5, you can no longer reduce it. You can't reduce it anymore. Nothing can divide 3 and divide 5. So it is in its lowest form. You can use method 1. But just imagine that this was not given to you. 3 over 5 was not given. Let us assume that the question started with 9 over 15. 9 over 15, like this. Find the missing number. 9 over 15 equal to question mark over 20 equal to 18 over question mark. You see this problem? Because 9 over 15 is not in its lowest form. You can still reduce this. Because 9 over 15 is not in its lowest form, you cannot use method 1 to solve and get this answer straight. You can't. You can't use method 1 to get this answer straight. You remember what I explained in method 1? Like in this case now, 15 and 20, you ask yourself, what will you multiply 15 by to get 20? That will be very tough for you to do because it will give you fraction. So I wouldn't advise that. But this method 2, using simple equation method, cross multiplication, and dividing by coefficient of the unknown can solve it easily. And that is why that is the method I would like you to learn. But then it depends on the question. If the given fraction is in its lowest term, I'll be using method 1. But if the given question is not in its lowest term, I will be using method 2. So let us quickly pick 2 questions, and I'll be fast in solving it. Example 2. Complete the following. 2 over 7 equal to blank over blank space, over 28 equal to blank space over 14. So these are question marks, unknown. Solution. From this question given to us, we have 2 over 7 equal to, now we don't know what is here, over 28 equal to over 14. That's the question given to us, right? Good. That's the question. Now you have the decision to make now. Will you use method 1 or method 2? Method 1 is direct inspection method, multiplication or division method. Method 2 is by simple equation method, cross multiplication, and dividing by the coefficient of the unknown. Like I told you, the method you would use that will be faster for you depends on the nature of the fraction given to you, the one whose numerator and denominator you know. This is 2 over 7. 2 over 7 is already in its lowest form. Nothing can divide 2 and 7 anymore. So it is already in its lowest form, lowest fraction. Therefore, you can comfortably use method 1. You can use what? Method 1. So what we are going to do is to solve 2 over 7 will now be equal to blank space over 28. So ask yourself, if you look at, the denominators. So ask yourself, this is 7, this is 28, smaller number 7. What will you multiply 7 by to get 28? And the answer is 4. If you do 7 times 4, you get 28. Therefore, to get this missing number, the numerator, come to this numerator 2, multiply by 4. Or you can go by the division method. 7 and 28. You know the denominators, they are complete. The denominator is complete already. 28 is greater than 7. So ask yourself, 28 divided by 7 will give you what? 28 over 7 will give you 4 because it's 7 times table. 7 times 4 is 28. So if 28 over 7 is equal to 4, it means you have gotten that number that you will use in multiplying the numerator and denominator of this 2 over 7 to get this new fraction. So 4 is that number we are going to use in multiplying. So this is going to be equal to, the numerator will go there, 2 times 4. So here is going to give you 8 as the missing number, okay? So equal to, next, blank space over 14. Again, go back to 2 over 7. Remember, if you're using method 1, the multiplication or division method, you must go back to the given fraction in its lowest term, in its lowest form. Now you have 7 and 14. 7 and 14. Remember, you are dealing with this fraction and this one now. You want to get the unknown. 7 and 14. Ask yourself, 7 and 14. 7 is smaller than 14. So coming to this 7, you can think multiplication method. 7 times what will give you 14? And you'll agree with me that 7 times 2 will give you 14. Therefore, to get this fraction here, we multiply this numerator and denominator by 2. Or if you want to go by the division method, look at 7 and 14. You know their denominators, they are complete. So you go there, 7 and 14. 14 is greater than 7. So ask yourself, 14 divided by 7 will give you what? To give you 2. So you have found out that number you will use in multiplying numerator and denominator to get the missing number here. And of course, that is 2. So I will come to this numerator because we are looking for the numerator here. 2 times 2. This 2 times that 2 we obtained when we divided 14 by 7, or when we multiplied 7 by something, to get 14. That is 2 actually. So from here, we now have that 2 over 7 is equal to 8 over 28 equal to, we are getting the final answer now of the missing number. 2 times 4 is 8 over 28 equal to 2 times 2 will give us 4 over 14. So we have completed these equivalent fractions, seeing that 2 of the numbers there are missing. So do you see, I use method 1 here because the given fraction is already in its lowest term. Let's take our last example, please. Let's take our last example. Finish up, finish up, finish up. So this is very simple. Make sure you activate your knowledge of multiplication, and that solves a lot of problems for you in mathematics. Okay, so example 3. Remember, at the end of this class, at the end of this live class, a copy of this live video will be made available, where you can come back and still rewatch it. Then you can pause. You can take me back and listen to certain things I said so as to understand them very well, in case you do not follow up a particular thing I say in this live class. Now we have our last question here. Find the missing numbers. Find the missing numbers. Find the missing numbers in. Find the missing numbers in. Okay, let's have this. 12 over 22 equal to 18 over question mark equal to question mark over 55. Solution. So if you look at this question, we have 12 over 22 equal to 18 over question mark equal to question mark over 55. Good. Go to that fraction where you know the numerator and the denominator. The fraction whose numerator and denominator have been given to you. So nothing is missing there. Go to that one. Then look at it. That fraction, is it already in its lowest term? If it is in its lowest term, fine. You can use method 1 to solve. But if it is not in its lowest term, that you can still reduce that fraction given to you, then method 1 cannot solve directly. You can use method 2 to solve it. If you must use method 1 to solve this question, you must reduce 12 over 22 to its lowest term. And 12 over 22, I know that 2 can divide it. If 2 divides 12, you will get 6. If 2 divides 22, you will get 11. Which means that 12 over 22 is the same as 11. Oh no, is the same as 6 over 11. This is the lowest term, the lowest form of this fraction. So that if I want to use method 1, multiplication and or division method to solve this question, I won't be using 12 over 22. Rather, I'll be using 6 over 11. I would make 6 over 11 equal to 18 over question mark equal to question mark over 55 if I am solving. So I now ask myself, okay, 6, 18. You know the numerators. 6 and 18. 18 divided by 6 will give you 3. So it means to get this missing number, you multiply this denominator 11 by what? 3, making this to be 33. What I am saying is, if you must use method 1 for this question, because 12 over 22 is not in its lowest term. If you must use method 1, you have to reduce 12 over 22 to its lowest term, so that you can now use method 1, which I feel is faster to get your answer. But I don't want to force myself. I don't want to reduce this, so that you don't even go and make mistake. Maybe when you want to write your final answer, instead of writing 12 over 22, you'll be writing 6 over 11. Let us solve this thing straight using method 2. I'm going to be using the cross multiplication and dividing both sides method. I'll be fast in that because this is something you already have knowledge of. Yeah, I've taught simple equation already. Make sure you follow up with our classes. Okay, make sure you follow up with our classes. Rough work. So let's be very fast as we get our result. This is 12 over 22 equal to 18 over equal to blank space over 55. Let's solve and get our answers. The first one is 12 over 22 equal to 18 over, let's say, 12 over 22 equal to 18 over x. Cross multiply, you get 12x equal to 22 times 18. Here, I don't need to multiply 22 times 18 to get a bigger number, such that dividing will become a problem for me. I will simply from here, if you have coefficient of the unknown anytime, you have to do DBS. This first one I cross multiply. The next one will be DBS. Are you following, right? Because you have coefficient of the unknown. Divide both sides by 12. DBS by 12. If you divide 12x by 12, you will get x remaining. Then come to this 22 times 18 divided by 12. If you divide this by 12, what will you get? Watch. 2 can reduce this if you want, or you can say 6 can divide 12, you get 2. 6 can divide 18, it will give you 3. Then again, you can reduce. I've taught you how to reduce, fractions. We saw that under basic arithmetics. Basic arithmetics, division. Under division of basic arithmetics. And we have that on this channel. Make use of them. The topics have been arranged for you under playlists. Are you following, right? Multiplication and division, they are together because multiplication and division, they work together, and the video lessons have been arranged for you. Please make use of this channel. If you have not subscribed yet, like I said, hit the subscription bell right away. Don't waste time. Subscribe and always follow up with GMAETS. After you subscribe, click on the notification bell, select all, so that anytime I upload any content or I come on live, you will be notified so you can learn. As a basic scholar, you want to take your studies very seriously because this is your foundation. You don't play with foundation, so that when you go higher, you will not fall. You will not break down. I love you guys. I love you, friends. I want the best for you. So we go. Now you have 22 over 2 here, and you have 3 there. 2 can divide 2 to give you 1. 2 can divide 22 to give you 11. So 11 times 3 will give you 33. X, the missing number, is 33. 33. Which was what I got when I reduced 12 over 22. I reduced it to 6 over 11. And I used method 1 to solve. I told you if I have 6 over 11, which is equivalent to 12 over 22. 6 over 11 in the lowest term. If I'm using it to solve, it will be 6 over 11 equal to 18 over question mark. And then you know that 6 times 3 will give you 18. So you're using 3 to generate the unknown. Come to the denominator, multiply by 3, you get 33. 11 times 3 is 33. Look at it. And I've solved it here. Next, you come to the last one and you repeat the same process. Repeat the same process. I'm using 12 and 22 to solve for this. So we have 12 over 22 equal to Question mark over 55. Let me use y over 55. Cross multiply and divide both sides by 22. These things you can work them with your brain, right? The network of your brain. 22 times y will give you 22y. 12 times 55. So if you have 22y, the next thing is to divide both sides by 22. So if you are using this method to solve this question, you mustn't punish yourself showing everything. No. Once you have this, 12 over 22 equal to question mark, you use an unknown for it, over 55. Cross multiply, have it in your brain. This 22 will multiply the unknown. So the 22 becomes the coefficient of the unknown, which you are going to use to divide both sides. In fact, my dear basic scholars, this is what I mean. 12 times 22, 22 times y rather will give you 22y. So the coefficient of the unknown is 22, which you are going to use in dividing both sides. Y is simply equal to 12 times 55 divided by 22, which is the coefficient of the unknown. You don't waste time. You don't. Let us reduce. If you solve this, 12 here, or if you come to this 55 and 22, if you have the same number together, 11 can always divide it. Two the same digits together, 11 can divide it. 55, 22, 32, 33, 44, 88, 11 can divide such numbers. So here, 11 will divide this 22, you will get 2. 11 will divide 55, you will get 5. Then 2 will divide 2 to give you 1. 2 will divide 12 to give you 6. You now have 6 times 5, so that the value of the unknown, the missing number, 6 times 5 is 30. So here, this is 30. Look at this 6 over 11. If I used 6 over 11 equal to question mark over 55, where 6 over 11 is the lowest form of this 12 over 22. Observe, 11 denominator, 55 denominator is complete, you know that. Which number will you use to multiply 11 to get 55? 5 is the number. Or you say 55 divided by 11, you get 5. So you are using 5 to multiply 6 so as to get the numerator here. Use 5 to multiply 6 to get this missing number. 5 times 6 will give you 30, which is what I obtained here. Look at it. And we are done solving. Answer. I love this simple equation method because it helps to develop your knowledge even faster. Yeah. And simple equation is applied to so many aspects of maths and science work. So we are done with our class for today. And I hope you learned something very good. I'm going to give you your assignment now. I'm going to give you your assignment. I'm going to give you your assignment. Solve the assignment. Let me adjust the camera a bit to the left so that I'll write a question on that left side. Solve and drop your answer in the comment section below this video, okay? Solve and drop your answer in the comment section. Assignment. Find the missing number. Find the missing number. Find the missing number in the following equivalent fractions. Number 1, 1 over 7 equal to question mark over 28 equal to question mark over 14. Question 2, 5 over 4 equal to blank space over 4 equal to 10 over blank space equal to 15 over blank space. So you do this, then number 3, 9 over number 3. 15 over 9 equal to, let's say, x over 12 equal to, okay, 15 over this equal to x over 12 equal to 30 over y. Good. Find the missing numbers here. You have 3 questions. Solve those 3 questions. Drop your answers. The final answer, where you tell me the missing number 1, just the missing number, you write it, this, comma, that. Number 2, just the missing number, this, comma, that. Number 3, just the value of x and y. Just say x, comma, y equal to, you write the answer, this, comma, that. Okay? Now, to show me your working, if you want to show me your solving, because you can do that, what you have to do is simple. In your notebook where you solved the question, snap it. Come to this channel, GMAETS41 basic class. The home page, you will see visit community. You will see visit community. Tap on that visit community. Tap on that visit community. Let me adjust this camera a bit too, so now you can see the questions clearly. Okay, sorry, been cut off earlier. Okay, think it's better. Fine. So if you want to show me your full working, your solving, like I said, you solve it in your GMAETS41 basic class online lesson notes. Snap it. Come to this channel. On the home page, you will see visit community. Click on that visit community. Click on that visit community where you are going to send me your solved work will appear. Okay? Upload your solved work there. Once you upload it, I will see your full solving to find out whether you understand, what we did in today's class, and whether the answer you posted in the comment section of this video, if you actually got them based on what you solved. I will be seeing you in our next class. In our next class in mathematics, I'll be teaching you reduction of fractions. Reduction of fractions. Although I have actually covered that under division, basic arithmetics. I have covered that. But then in fraction, I still want to handle that. However, dear friends, listen to my advice and take it. On this channel, you have video lessons on HCF, highest common factors. Okay? Take that lesson before our next class tomorrow morning by 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. Okay? I'll be teaching you reduction of fractions. But like I said, today, take the lesson on HCF, highest common factor. It will help you a lot to enjoy our tomorrow's class on reduction of fraction. On this channel, you have video lessons on highest common factor already, so you can take it to learn more. We've concluded how to find missing numbers, and remember I taught you 2 methods. The direct inspection method using multiplication or division knowledge. You use that if the fraction given to you is already in its lowest term. Then I taught you the cross multiplication and dividing both sides by the coefficient of the unknown, simple equation method. You use that if the complete fraction given to you is not in its lowest term. For example, if you look at this, question number 3 here, this fraction is not in its lowest term. So if you must use multiplication or division method, you know what to do to this fraction first. Otherwise, solve directly using simple equation, cross multiplication and dividing by coefficient of the unknown. Have a wonderful day. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. And I hope to have you submit your assignment anyway. Bye-bye.